In this lesson, we'll be adding textures to our pie graph. Okay, so I still want to keep in that same color palette that we used with our last graph. So a really quick way that we can reuse that is by going back over to that project and just grabbing its textures. So if we come over here to Window and go to 12_end, that's where those textures are going to be created. And what I want to do is just save out a file of those textures that we can bring back in to our pie graph and to the graph, the bar graph that we'll be making after that. So let's go ahead and we'll come over here to Create and choose Save All Materials As. And it might be a little bit hard for you to see that, so I'll drop that down. There it is, Save All Materials As. And I just want to save those in your reference files folder. So we'll just go in and name that Textures. Save it. Then we'll go back over to our 20_begin, and we'll go to Create and choose Load Materials. And we'll just grab those textures again, open it up, and now we can use them in this pie. So we'll go ahead and drop in a sky so that we can put that off-white texture on there. We're not going to be adding any cameras or any textures to the camera. So let's go ahead and do these pieces of the pie. Now, you can emulate the textures that you saw in the Illustrator file if you want. So looks like mollusks were yellow, birds were red, fish were teal, whales were navy blue. So that's easy to remember. We'll just copy that over. So I'll minimize that. And I'll just drop that on. So you can see that that's going on the inside of the bowl, which is fine because that is the piece that we're using to cut that out. So just keep that in mind that it will be on the inside of the bowl. So if you have that collapsed, you won't be able to see the texture, but that's totally fine. For the text on the inside of that, I think it'd be nice to kind of grab that background again. So we'll just drop that on just like that. And then we can collapse those bools. 2% was for the birds, 1% was for the whales. So we'll go ahead and drop the red on the 2% and the navy blue on the 1%. Then moving back down through here for the main text, I think I'd like to use navy again since navy isn't getting a lot of that. Whales also will get navy. Fish is teal. Birds are red. And the mollusks were yellow. The 1% is going to be referring to the whales, so everything associated with that 1% will also make navy blue. So that's going to also be the 1% line. And the 2% were the birds, so we'll drop 2% with red. Okay, so I think that's all of the textures. Let's play this and watch it through. Very nice. So I really like the way that is looking. And now I think we're ready to move on to our next lesson, which is going to be converting the coin in our bar graph in the next lesson to a 3D shape. So we'll be moving on to our bar graph, and then we'll be having to do a few more difficult things maybe than we've done on the bar graphs so far. So stick around and I'll show you how that bar graph can really be transformed from just simple kind of columns to something more interesting that really shows what that bar graph is talking about a little bit better. So this one's going to be the most challenging, but also one of the most rewarding and pretty graphs that we'll be creating. So stick around and we'll be working on our bar graph in the next lesson.